I look at myself and I feel sorry for that girl who has no idea what's even coming. Really thinking that life is going to change in a different way without really realizing what a turn life can take in just a split second. I had no idea that I would wake up this day and literally experience the worst 12 days of my life. And that poor girl, she like never could have imagined what would happen. Life will never be the same for me. It will never be the same. I will forever see things differently.
But we could be everything, anything that we see we could be. We could be everything that we want. We could be everything, anything that we see we could be. We could be anything that we want.
I don't think there's anything that could prepare somebody to tell a story like this, but I wanted to catch you guys up on where I've been and like why I've been gone so long. And I know I don't owe anybody an explanation, but I just feel like with the immense lesson that I've had to learn over the last 2 weeks, I feel like more than just me should benefit from it. So I'm going to kind of update you guys on what's been going on, but I can't do that without first taking you back and showing you like the stuff you didn't see. And I guess where we can start off is we could start off with the YouTube event that I went to in collaboration with Nordstrom. That was an opportunity that was absolutely amazing to have, and I was really, really, really excited to go. I had to get up early, but it was totally worth it. Good morning. I am headed to the Grove to do the shopping event with the YouTube shopping in Nordstrom. So we're gonna actually get there. We gotta be there at 8:15. We're gonna do breakfast and then we're gonna shop, which is gonna be fun. I'm still like, I have an idea, but I'm still kind of deciding the kind of video that I'm gonna film. But obviously with you guys, you're gonna see like the behind the scenes as I'm figuring it out. I am thinking I'm going to do like if money were no object, what I would buy, and then try on all the stuff that I would just love to try on, because they always have such a good selection there. But we'll see, because I'm, you know, it's still in the works up here. But we're stopping at Pete's Coffee right now because I don't want to depend on the fact that they have good coffee. Like I need good coffee. It's 7 o'clock. We got up at 5. Well, he got up at, the alarm went off at 5:30. He got up at, what time did you get up? He actually got up at 5:30. He's really good about getting up. I am not. I'm noticing that whenever I have to be somewhere and he comes with me, I am on time. Whenever I have to be somewhere and he doesn't come with me, we are gambling. It's super, super early. I haven't been up this early in a minute, so coffee is absolutely, absolutely a must. And I pre-ordered it, so it should be ready. So we got the coffee. This is actually a Havana cappuccino with 2 shots. And almond milk, caramel, French hazelnut syrup. This is a drink I made for him when we were ordering coffee one day. And when I tried his, I was like, oh, I like yours better than mine. So now I get this. And it's nice and strong, exactly how I like it. So it's gonna take us about an hour to get down there. When I'm doing stuff like this, it's like, this is on a regular work day. It's a Thursday in the morning. Like under normal circumstances, if I had my other job, like these are the types of events that I would have to like miss. Like I would not have the opportunity to participate in a lot of the events I've gone to recently because my work schedule would kind of like get in the way, or I would have to like use up a lot of my vacation time trying to go. So it's moments like these where I'm so happy that I made the leap, just so I could have like these fun, cool experiences. So yeah, that's just something like I think about. And that's why also whenever I get these opportunities now, I try to take as many as I am able, because I remember the time when I really had to be choosy about the ones that I accepted and picked, because like, you know, schedule, vacation time, it just got super dark. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say that because it's something that I think about a lot. So we're outside. They're gonna be letting us in a little bit. We're gonna do breakfast and then we're gonna have a whole hour to go shop, but we can't check out until the store actually opens for real. So that's like if we're gonna buy something. Am I gonna buy something?
I'm sure you are.
I might buy something.
Nordstrom! We'll do like 100, okay?
Alright, one more. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you. This is just like new news for me, but the Nordstrom at the Grove actually has a restaurant in here. That's like actually where we're eating. That's where they have the buffet and everything set up, and then they even have like, I don't know if you can see, like outdoor eating. So this is actually really nice. I'm gonna have to keep this in mind for future. I wonder what their actual menu looks like for real, like not this, but they have like lots of pastries, fruits. They have these really nice big breakfast sandwiches that are really cool. So we're gonna do this, and then we have like a whole entire hour to shop around and create content before the store opens to general public. So I think for sure I'm gonna do the no budget shopping for free. A budget. I can't go over the budget, okay? I can't go over the budget. I'm not gonna tell y'all what the budget is, but I'm gonna give myself a budget. There was one thing that I wanted that I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if they have it, but then I just looked online and realized they don't sell it here. So that's out of the question, but I don't know. I'm thinking. I really wanted the Marc Jacobs, the Sack hobo bag, the black one with the white polka dots. I really want that, but they don't have that here. So that's like gonna have to be put on the back burner for now. But they do have here the white with the pink and purple tie-dye, which is really pretty. So I might try it on. But if I get that, I'm not getting anything else. That's the budget. So
yeah.
It is. It's gonna be the budget. So y'all pray for me that I stay in budget. I have officially quit my job, so I have to stay in budget. I have to stay in budget. These are the things that are hard. But we can do it. We can do it.
We can have one of these bags.
Oh, yes.
This is our shop stars. They're fabulous shop stars. Everyone having success.
All right. Budget, Jillian. Budget. Let's try on all the new season items that just dropped in Nordstrom. You guys, this is sickening. I want this so bad. Definitely will be considering the corset. The jeans are cool, but I don't feel like they're anything special. The corset is special. Self-control, and I walked away from the vest. I have pictures of it so I can go online later if I want to get it, but I want to look around some more, so yeah. Are you proud of me?
I'm very proud of you.
She's learning, she's growing up.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, you stopped it. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, you don't have a red.
You want to try it?
You don't have a red one this size.
No, not anymore. Just white, right? Oh, you discontinued?
No, we just sold
What
out.
kind of chocolate do you like? What's your favorite?
That's fine. I like
Chocolate
it.
truffle?
Yeah.
Billy for 20 cents. Yeah, sorry about that.
So you can use it if you
Oh,
want.
let me just get one more and I'll just pay the difference.
Oh, no, I never even knew you had something. Well, you get them periodically, right?
Yeah. So you get a sticker.
Are you guys
when spend
visiting from
$35
somewhere?
a month.
Okay.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
She just likes candy.
Oh, good. I'm in the right place.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
gonna be the 2606.
I did have coffee, that's no excuse.
Perfect.
My coffee today too.
Yeah. I never heard of it.
Do you want to try either one of these?
Not right now.
Yeah, I can't. The apple pie one was very interesting.
I definitely don't want that.
It's really not bad.
I don't
It's
like
just
apple
really,
pie.
really sweet, and because I haven't eaten, I think that's why I'm like, I don't know. I can't eat the whole thing right now.
I'm good. You gonna toss it? Why you
No,
didn't want
I'm
to toss it in
saving.
there? You were scared to toss it in front of him?
No,
Cause I snacked on mine a little bit and then I was like, yeah, I'm about to toss this. There go trash can right there. You scared like the people was gonna come out here and get you for not liking it. Yeah, toss that back.
but I do like this one, so I'm gonna save
Which
it.
one is that?
It's the toffee one he just gave us.
Is it chewy or is it crunchy?
You didn't try it?
Oh, that's the one. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. It was cool. I like mine more chewy. So,
This is the hard one, right?
yeah. I took one bite. It was cool. But it was too big, to eat all of that.
I'll put it in here. Hope it doesn't melt.
It's gonna melt.
That's asking for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We really need real food, though. I'm gonna try this one. Oh, it's so hard.
That's what I said.
It's good. Oh, it's really good though.
Yeah. It's
I'm gonna
good.
save that.
It's really good, but it was just too big.
I'm gonna save that. It's
Yeah.
really good.
That's what she said. All right, so before we dip out, are you good on the vest? Nordstrom's over there. In the backdrop, behind us.
I don't know.
Final call.
Should I get the vest?
Folks.
It's gonna end up being like $280, you guys. Think about what I could thrift with that.
You can always come back.
That's true. No, we're gonna skip on the vest today.
All right, we're skipping on the vest.
We're skipping on the vest.
Made an executive decision. All right, don't be switching up.
I'm not. Today.
Today, don't switch up today.
I'm not today. Proud of myself. I really am.
Way to go. Way to go, Jillian. That's growth.
No, I'm gonna go get the vest. No, I'm just playing.
Growth, maturity.
She's growing up and she's becoming more responsible.
You
Something
still-
about
still-
quitting
you-
your job that'll make you sober up and come to reality real quick.
You still need more work though. But it's a good start.
Growth, baby steps, still move you forward.
I feel you.
Now we're gonna go spend $300 on food instead. Let's go.
That's crazy. Going up. Don't fall. What are you doing?
So, all in all, the shopping adventure was fun. I got to try on some things that I probably wouldn't try on if the store was like open. But don't fall. Level 4, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like that Jean-Paul Gaultier,
Those pants.
the pants, yes, but actually the denim jacket, because it's so versatile. Like I would wear that so much, and it's
Right.
like a archive collector's piece, like something that 5-10 years from now, it's gonna be like one of those things. So I don't know. $1,200 though is wild for a denim jacket. Okay, especially when it might go on sale. All right, we're back in the car. We got a cute little goodie bag. Let's see what's in it. So we got these really cute Nordstrom patches, Sugarfina mango gummies, magic mangoes, a cute little sleep mask, and what is this? Water. But it's like a really cute like ASMR metal little water thing, so it is. And then just like a cute little tote bag. Like, not gonna lie, I would just like carry this on a whim. I'm actually really thirsty though, so we about to get into this water. Oh gosh, what does Chris want? Hello? Why? I can't think readily right now. This is such a good location. We're at the Blue Plate Taco, and I'm like suffering so bad, hardcore, from being like car sick. So I was dumb and tried to edit in the car. I shouldn't have done that. So I'm hoping that eating something will ease the pain, and then I'm about to take something as well, because like I low-key, I have a headache.
Garlic, yeah.
Thank
You need small plates?
Sure. Thank you.
This one don't look like your vibe.
That's the garlic one. That's the garlic one.
He said this is the one you put on everything. This looks like it would be good on the fajitas. I'm putting that on fajitas.
What's that?
It's like,
That's
just
the
try
You
it.
guys want to throw anything in? We'll be hanging out for now.
Oh, we actually want to do, what did you say,
The shrimp.
the shrimp fajitas?
Okay. We okay with the rice and beans on that?
Yes.
Yeah. For the beans, do you put the fajita cheese on the top? No?
I can add them if you'd like.
Just on the side?
Yeah, tortilla on the side. Were you guys okay with homemade corn tortillas, or would you like flour?
Homemade corn. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me throw that in. I'll get it working, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You guys.
59.23. Now I just gotta do the voiceover.
This the life you want?
The life I want to live. Footloose and fancy free.
Go to the right.
This way?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, that breeze is hitting. That breeze is hitting right now. That's the thing. The closer you get to the water, the cooler it gets. Oh, that's cute. It's been so long since I've been down to the Santa Monica Pier, like actually on the pier.
Last time I came right here was when we took our pictures.
Oh, our engagement photos.
Yeah.
All right, I am here picking up my daughter because we're done with the whole YouTube thing, but after this, we're actually going to go to Best Buy. I'm gonna surprise my husband. With the Meta glasses because he just keeps raving about them, talking about how much he loves mine. So he doesn't know, but that's why we're going to Best Buy. All right, I'm at Best Buy. I just told him to wait in the car because he thinks I'm just going to get like a little cord. The thing is I was gonna spend that exact amount of money that the Meta glasses cost in Nordstrom, but I have some self-control and I'd rather treat him for coming with me and helping me. So I'm gonna get them for him instead. I know that he wanted one of these, so yeah. Actually, I think he wanted these ones, the shiny, not the matte. So I'm pretty sure they have that one in stock, hopefully. Fingers crossed, or I'll order online. The bag has been secured. Now let's surprise him. Thank you.
What's this? No way.
I did.
Put that on something. No way. Should I open it?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Are you serious?
Yes.
Put that on. What?
I decided to take my Nordstrom budget and spend it on you instead.
No way.
Yes.
Thank you.
What did she get?
Thank you.
What did she get?
You've been going on about these glasses all day.
Mom, what did she get you? No way. She got you Meta glasses?
That's time.
Dad, she got you Meta glasses?
Yeah. Can I take this one?
Yeah, a nice little bonus for my chief content officer.
Man, these are hard.
I expect you to use those to help me film content.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Dad, can I try them on?
No.
Hold on. Yeah, those are hard. Yeah.
I got the insurance on them, so 2 years. If you break them, whatever, the replacement. If you lose them, they can't help you, so don't lose them.
No, I ain't. Are you serious? Like, did you?
I did.
You lying. No way. Thank you. Oh, man, I was not expecting. This is crazy. Damn. Wow. Do I keep this on?
You'll need this to download the app, and this has the cleaner, the you know.
Yeah.
The white thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I didn't get the vest, but we got him the glasses.
Wow.
I felt so blessed to have that opportunity to experience something like that because it's just one of those like really cool things that not everybody gets to experience. But one thing that I will say is no matter how it looks from the outside looking in, like once you get there, you realize that everybody there is just like you. Like there is no one person is better than the next or anything like that. Everybody just is trying to do their best to elevate in their craft, elevate in the arena that they are in, trying to, you know, just get as far as they possibly can, being successful. Like from the outside looking in, I know it can oftentimes look one way, but once you get there, you realize how many people feel blessed to even be there. And I don't know if maybe I'm just lucky and I haven't had the experience of coming in contact with people who are entitled, but in a lot of the things and events that I've been to, I realized that it rarely looks like from the inside what it looks like from the outside. And I think there's like a misconception about that. Having just gotten back from Texas and like having the whole entire mental breakdown, like the first month or so of just like not having my job, I had finally gotten to the point where I was okay letting myself relax and actually put forth effort in trying to enjoy myself. So after the YouTube event, we went ahead and just did like a random pool day, and it was really, really nice because I was gonna work that day and I was gonna edit, but my husband looked at me and he told me, he was like, you know what, you really need to just relax. I was so ready to take my laptop down to the pool and try to like work while I was there, but my husband convinced me to leave it at home and just relax. So that is exactly what I did. literally the best decision that I could have made because it was such a relaxing, freeing day that, I don't know, I just think we don't really realize how important it is to unplug. Not too long after that, God began to speak to me about our individual and spiritual gifts and our vehicles, which is, you know, the thing that we use to move us from one place to the next and like move us forward in our purpose. And I think that there is a big misconception about the gift of prophecy. And one of those misconceptions I feel is that God is constantly just showing you the future, like you're some type of fortune teller. And that's not really how that gift works. I like to say that God can address 10 different things using one scenario oftentimes. And I look at my dreams and the way that he speaks to me as a formula for life, because a lot of times he will show me something that applies to many different things. It's like a puzzle piece that fits in so many places. And that's kind of how I viewed this dream. I saw a girl with a vehicle, and this vehicle was absolutely filthy. It had gotten this way because she had fallen into a depression, and so she just wasn't cleaning things the way that she was supposed to be cleaning them as she went along. I saw her finally decide to clean out this vehicle, and she was pulling all kind of things out of it. Like, I'm talking old food that had been petrified into the bowl. There was dirt and grime everywhere, like so much so that she actually needed a shovel to get some of it out. I remember looking at her thinking that she might need to power wash the vehicle just to get it as clean as it needed to be. And I asked her if she would need to like borrow a hose with water. And I sensed her attitude and frustration. But it was in that moment I realized it wasn't me that she was mad at. She was actually mad at herself for even letting the vehicle get that bad. When I stepped out of the vehicle, I started to see it come together. I started to see it in the form that it was meant to be in, which was clean. This vehicle actually had monster truck wheels on it. It was a very powerful vehicle. As I stood back looking at this vehicle from the outside, watching it get clean and come together, I realized this vehicle was the original vehicle this girl was actually supposed to be driving. But because she had let it get so covered in dirt and let it fall by the wayside, instead of dealing with it and cleaning it, she decided to just go buy another vehicle to use in the meantime. I was happy to see her decide to get this vehicle together, because as I looked at the vehicle, I realized this was the vehicle that she should be driving. I thought about this dream when I woke up, and it got me to thinking about who I was as a child. Your vehicle is your ministry, the means by which you accomplish the things that God wants you to accomplish. A lot of times we know our vehicle when we're very young, but as life happens, as we go through life, we start to change and adjust to who the world wants us to be. And so I thought back to some of my first loves and some of my first passions, and it was storytelling and drawing pictures to explain a thought or idea. It's very similar to what I do on YouTube, even when it comes to like vlogging and fashion. Like, I would tell stories as a child. Like, I used to love to write fictional like books and write all kinds of creative, way out there stories. My mom actually gave me more recently a story that I wrote when she used to take me to work with her. I was probably I had to be like about 8 or 10. And she gave me the story. I read it. The story was good. It was really good. It was a scary story because when I was younger, like, if you guys are not familiar with my story, I used to see some like wild, like crazy things. And I think it just kind of came out in the stories that I would write. It was a very good story. I started thinking about how I used to tell stories and draw pictures when I was younger, and thinking about me today, if I'm really using my vehicle the way that it was originally intended. And so with that being said, it's made me want to stop and think about how I tell stories and the pictures that I draw and put out there. And I want to make sure it's being done in the way that God designed me to do it, you know? So I encourage you guys to think about your first loves, like the first things that you were passionate about, and really ask yourself if you are living in that purpose, because our purposes, like our purpose for what God wants us to do and why we are here, is put into us from the start. And it comes out when we're younger and we're trying to find our way when we're growing as people, and sometimes we just forget, you know? It was a very interesting dream, I will say that. But it put a lot of things in perspective, because a lot of times I will see things and not only am I seeing something about others, but I'm seeing something about myself. And so this was one of those moments where I had to stop and make sure that the girl and the dirty vehicle wasn't me. It's funny because I forgot I actually had that dream until I was editing this footage, and it was almost like a reminder for myself to like check in and make sure that I am moving with intention and moving with purpose. And so, you know, that was like a nice little reminder while I was editing this. Now, I have definitely tried to edit this vlog many times over in the last few weeks, and I have not been able to, which you guys will understand why in a minute. But one of the things that I really wanted to do was I wanted to redo my patio. I found myself leaving the house a lot to go to coffee shops and like try to like work outside at coffee shops to have a change of scenery. But I started to realize I would just love to be able to do that on my own patio. So I was like, you know what, girl, listen, although I might be moving soon, I wanted to decorate my patio in a way where I could just bring myself a little bit of a sanctuary and have like a little bit of peace, because everything that I wanted to do was things that I could take with me wherever I went. So it didn't really feel like a waste. So one day I just got up and I was like, you know what? We're about to do the patio over. We're giving it a complete overhaul, and I want to create a sanctuary that's going to be wonderful for me to work outside during the fall winter season, because you know, in California it never really gets too cold. And I just wanted to create something special that would bring me peace and joy. We're at Lowe's because I want to redo my patio, but I'm looking for some new patio furniture, so I decided to take you guys with me and we're gonna redo my patio together. Okay, so what I'm looking for is really a situation kind of like this, just 2 chairs, very comfortable chairs, and like a little table, and this is only $400. I didn't want to spend more than $400 on it, so I feel like this could be really nice. It just looks so comfortable, but we're gonna see, because I also considered maybe just getting like a bench. Ooh, I like that little corner thing. Let's go look at that. Ooh, those are beautiful dogs. And they're huge too. Oh my gosh, look at how big those dogs are. Okay, I feel like something like this could be really cool in the corner, because I have like a corner where I could do something like this, but it looks like it's part of a sectional, so you can't just do that. I also kind of really wanted to get 2 chairs like this. Ooh, it swivels. Oh, that's handy. I actually really like that. Okay. All right, let me make sure there's nothing else before I pick. But that's really looking like the ticket right there. So I could also do something like this. It's like a really nice chair. I like the style of it, and then just like get a nice cushion. And there's a bench version too back there. Ooh, I also like the one with the arms, because with the arms you can like lean from side to side, but this actually has a wider bottom. But my patio is not huge, so the small one might actually be better. All right, so we're in Home Depot, and I think that this one is gonna be the best deal. Now I'm concerned that every single piece won't fit, but we're gonna see. And if we have to like put one chair away and just have these, then that's fine, and we'll just utilize this if we move. But this just is the better deal, like cost wise, and I love the look of it, so this is what we're going with. So there's annuals right here, plant each year. Okay, so then I should get perennials, right? Because I'm looking for something that's there. Well, it says that they bloom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh, and these are colorful and pretty. They have like little blooms on them. Look at these. I'm gonna show you guys a better view when it's daytime, but I did want you to see the twinkle lights. So we decided to do only one of the chairs because both chairs were not going to fit. We tried to do this configuration and then just have like both chairs here, but as you can see, the space is just too small. So we decided to keep the chair that swivels because it's like just better, and do one couch because this would provide the most seating versus just doing two chairs. I do have this, which I thrifted so long ago, but I'm actually going to get a plant that's like a viney plant that I could put in here, and I'm going to use that as decor. I'm about to put the table together that's gonna go right here. These little cushions are not gonna stay here, but I probably will put them under the table. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know. Let's put the table together, put the table right here, see how that looks, and then it's gonna pretty much be done. And then this is the succulents that I got earlier today, but there is space right here because of, you see how high this comes up. So I think I'm gonna plant 2 additional succulents here to kind of hide it, and then 2 additional ones right here to hide it on the other side. And on these sides, I'll just add the color. So yeah, but yeah, all in all, we are almost there. The next part of this story is really hard to tell because as I even just like edit this footage, I look at myself and I feel sorry for that girl who has no idea what's even coming. I was getting ready for this YouTube event. It was at YouTube headquarters. Again, this is like within the same like week or two, I'm having all of these opportunities, and I'm really thinking that life is going to change in a different way without really realizing what a turn life can take in just a split second. I had no idea that I would wake up this day and literally experience the worst 12 days of my life. And that poor girl, she like never could have imagined what would happen. She never could have. I am almost to YouTube headquarters. I'm going to actually be filming on my Osmo, which is what you guys are on right now. I will show you guys the outfit when I get a chance to step out the car, but I'm not late. I'm still 15 minutes early, but I really wanted to get here at 2:30 and not 3. I'm getting here at 2:45. So once I get there and I get parked and settled, I'm gonna show you guys like my whole entire outfit, like what I'm wearing, and then we're gonna try to figure out where exactly we're going and if it's gonna be in the same place that it was last time I was here. So I'll keep you guys posted, but I wanted to let you know that we are on the move.
Hello. Thank you so much. Would you like to leave your name and phone number or?
Yeah, you can leave my name.
Cool. So much.
Thanks.
Have fun in there.
Thanks. Okay, so this is the outfit. We have a denim skirt, the vest from the Nordstrom, Caperni flip-flops. I'm running a little bit behind, but I know I'm gonna need my ID. All right, let's go. Okay, luckily I think this is kind of set up like last time, so I think I see the booth to check in. I have 8 minutes to spare. I was just about to sit down with the YouTube like merch team to try to like work on some merch that I thought would be a really good idea for you guys. And as I was standing in line talking to a girl about her nonprofit and, you know, some of the things that she was doing, my phone kept vibrating in my hand, and I just thought maybe it was like notifications or maybe my kids or something like that. But when I looked down at my phone, it was actually my sister calling me, and she never calls me that many times back to back. And so when I turned my phone over, I saw her text me. She said, "Call me emergency." And it was like my heart just dropped because I just knew something was wrong. And when I stepped away to call her, like, she had such panic in her voice, but she had let me know that our father had collapsed and was unresponsive. They were trying to find a pulse. They were trying to resuscitate him. And basically, like, I needed to try to get to him as quickly as possible. Now, just to give you like a little bit of backstory, my father and I are a bit estranged. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but like, he was in my life when I was younger, and when I turned about 8 to 10 years old, or I would say 8 to 9 years old, I didn't see him again until I was about 21 or 22. We didn't really talk often, but you know, we would check in every now and again. I would have periods of time where I talked to him more than others, but it wasn't like I saw him consistently. Sometimes I wouldn't talk to him for months and I would think nothing of it because it was just like, that was like kind of normal for our relationship. But over the last, I would say 2 to 3 years, we had started talking more consistently. But he had sent my mom a message letting her know that he had been diagnosed with leukemia lymphoma. He had told her to like tell me, but the thing is what he didn't know is that for the last several months, I had been telling my mom that I think he's sick and something's wrong, and he's not telling me. So when he sent her that message telling her that, she let him know, you know, Jill already knew. Like, she told me this months ago that she knew something was wrong and that you just, you know, you weren't telling her. So when he got diagnosed with that, he went into chemotherapy, and my brother and I went to go see him at the hospital to kind of like just show some support, because it was our understanding that he had been gone, you know, for quite some time, not in the area. And so we showed up there to support him, and you know, by the way that it looked like everything was going to be okay. Like, he got his first chemotherapy treatment. The type of cancer it was highly treatable. 6 treatments and boom, you're done. And so when I got this call that something had happened and he had collapsed, like, I was really shocked. Like, I had just seen him probably the week prior, gone with him to the emergency room. Like, he was having some side effects, we thought, from the chemo. I just was not prepared for what was actually going on. And so I'm communicating with the people who are there with him and trying to get directions on where he's going, like, where are they taking him, which hospital are they going to take him to. And so I finally figured that out, and I get to the hospital, and when I arrive, I'm sitting in the emergency room, and it's like I cannot even hardly process what's going on. I'm sitting there, and it's really hard for me to even have a reaction, because for me, it's like, it's hard for me to react until I know what's what. So I beg the people who are at the front to just, like, let me back there to see him, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because all I could feel in my spirit is that I need to get back there to lay hands on him, to pray. Like, that was my main priority. This next part is really, really, really hard to talk about, but I'm asking the security guard to check in the back with the nurses, because I really just want to touch him. I just feel like if I can touch him, everything will be okay. They finally let me back there, and they're really not supposed to, but they covered him up just enough for me to go back there and see him. And when I walked into that room, it was like his body was laying on a gurney in this big room with just him and whatever is keeping him alive in the middle. And they told me he was completely unresponsive, and it just was not looking good. And so the first thing I did when I got into that room is I went over there and I touched his chest, and I put my hand on top of his head. And as soon as the first 4 words of my prayer left my mouth, his entire body went like this, like he was being jolted. It looked like he was crying, and there were tears coming down his eyes. And from that point forward, intermittently, he would just like jolt. And I asked the RN, like, what was that? Like, what was going on? They couldn't really explain it. I just know that the second I laid my hands on him and I said the first 4 words of prayer, he started doing that. And he kept doing it. I stayed up at the hospital holding his hand and, like, playing worship music until, like, a little past midnight that night. I went home, and I just thought that I would wake up the next day and he would be awake. What happened instead is I woke up the next day and I had to go pick up my sister from the airport. Now, here's some backstory about that. This is my half sister. We have the same father, different mother, and she's 3 years older than me. And although we have been talking pretty consistently on the phone for the last 2 years, I had actually never met her before. She lived in a completely different state than me. So when I went to go pick her up from the airport, this is essentially my first time meeting my older sister. And I'm meeting her under these circumstances, and I'm having to take her to the hospital where our father is lying, unresponsive. I pick her up, we hug, we stop, get her coffee, and we go to the hospital. I don't think I was ready for what was about to take place, because this whole entire time we were both thinking that he was just gonna wake up. Like, that was our only thought. When I got to the hospital the next day, I brought her into the room, and just to give you context, she had never met him before, and they had only been talking on the phone for the last year prior to this. I had given my dad her contact information and told him he should definitely call her, that she really wanted to get to know him. And so he finally reached out to her, and shortly after her birthday, she was able to speak to him for the first time in her entire life. And they talked consistently for a whole, like, little more than a year. But mind you, she had never met him in person before. So her first time meeting her father, he's laying in this bed, completely passed out and unresponsive. And I can't imagine what it would be like to have the first time you see your father be when he's lying in a hospital bed looking like the way that he looked when she got there, because he did not look good. I do have pictures that I took every single day that he was there, because in my mind, I have pictures and videos, I thought he was going to just wake up and I would be able to show him how far God had brought him and show him how far he had come. I did not know that things would end up the way that they did. So she sees him, she completely breaks down, understandably, and we just sit there and we just, you know, it's like at this point it's me and her dealing with this. My brother is, you know, also me and my brother have the same mom and dad, but you know, he had a heavy work schedule and just it was not possible for him to be up there. So me and her are essentially handling everything alone, because that side of our family, like his side, he's like pretty much the last one aside from his sister. Having to be the one to make all of the decisions for our father together, and we had just met and they had just met, was one of the most uncomfortable feelings. Like, when I tell you I was so out of my comfort zone, I was so out of my element, not only was I extremely uncomfortable because I'm in unfamiliar territory, but I am having to like communicate with and work with people that I don't know, including, you know, the ones who showed up. It was just, I don't think I've ever been more uncomfortable in my life. So the whole first week of him being in the hospital, the whole first 6 days, it was just like a race against time, because it was like we talked to so many different specialists about what was going on, because nobody could seem to figure out why he wouldn't just wake up. Initially, they had him on a sedative because of the shocking to his system, and he was just going like this. They couldn't explain what it was. It wasn't a seizure, it wasn't any of those things, but they eventually removed the sedative because they needed to like get him to wake up. They did an MRI. His MRI looked normal. His brain waves looked normal. Like, there was literally no reason why he should not have woken up. He was not sedated at all. And so there are things about this story that I cannot really tell you guys, but what I can say is this. That morning I had a dream about him, and the dream was so disturbing that I didn't even write it down, because I thought there is no way that this could possibly be true. But as the days progressed and as I went through that 12 days of him being in the hospital, I realized that that dream was actually very much true, and God was trying to show me something, but it was like I wasn't ready to accept what God was trying to show me. And so I didn't write it down, even though it was stuck. And, you know, my father was in the hospital for 3 days before I got a dream about what was actually wrong. And so when I got a dream about what was actually wrong, it was so interesting the way that it was shown to me that I kind of was like, God, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't really know that I understand how this like adds up or makes sense. But basically what God had shown me was 2 foreign things in blood, and how these 2 foreign things were attacking the blood and attacking the body that they were in. I also saw what was going on as far as like what the body needed, and basically the way to kind of maneuver around what was going on. So at this point, like, I had the dream. I that whole first day, I couldn't even interpret it. I was like, I just really like, I was so overwhelmed that I didn't even know where to begin with trying to interpret this dream. But finally, when we sat down with all of the doctors, with my sister and my brother and my parents, and they started really like telling us what was going on, the doctor went on to explain to us how this type of cancer was like a type of cancer in the blood. And so it was at that point that this dream about the two different things I saw in the blood started to make sense, and it like clicked, like, oh my God, I think I know what's going on. What I did is I requested that the doctors remove certain medications because I started looking into it, and it was like God was giving me a supernatural type of knowledge that I shouldn't have had because I did not go to medical school, but I was able to figure out that they had him on two different things where the side effect was a sedative. Too high of a dosage could actually cause a coma-like state. So when I pointed this out to the doctors, they were looking at me at first like how do you know this? Like, they weren't really taking me seriously. But after they sat with what I said for a second, they ended up saying, actually, no, you're right. We should remove this and change it to a different type of medication. It was like one of the antibiotics he was on and something else they had him on. And, you know, we should actually take this away because you're right, this could be causing him to stay asleep. And so in the dream, I saw all the things that needed to be removed. And basically all he needed to have was what would be considered water. So slowly but surely, I got them to remove every single thing that he was on except for sodium chloride, which is basically like salt water. And then I knew that there were some other things that he would probably need, but I just didn't know how to ask for them or if it was even a thing. But we basically got him off of everything but sodium chloride, and I'm thinking he's gonna wake up. So we're a few days in at this point, maybe halfway through the week, and it's just, you know, there's movement in his face, there's movement in his throat, there's movement in different areas that I can see, but it isn't enough for them to take seriously the fact that he might actually wake up. Like, it was looking very grim, and they were pretty much telling us they just really didn't think he was gonna come back from this. There were moments where we had complete and total breakdowns. There were moments where the situation was so crazy, all that we could do was laugh and try to cope in the best way that we could. I mean, it was a wonder that we could laugh at all in this situation. But, you know, after that whole entire first week, there were some things that we learned. And what we had learned is that our father had not been as honest with us as we had initially thought. And, you know, it was kind of sobering to find out that there was a lot that he was not telling us the truth about. And it was heartbreaking. It was devastating. It was disappointing. But even still then, it was like, I will accept and take all of this if only he would just wake up. And so we started praying for him, and we started playing deliverance in his ears. There was one of my sister's friends, extremely gifted, kind of let us know the spiritual aspects of what was going on. So we were like, you know what, let's try to do this deliverance and see, because, you know, this was starting to seem like a situation where it was more spiritual than natural, and the reason why he wasn't waking up was more spiritual than natural. So we started playing the deliverance, and when we started playing the deliverance in his ears, as soon as the deliverance was over, things started to come out of his mouth. And when I tell you some of the things that I saw happen to his body was like nothing I had ever seen before in my life. It was traumatizing. They had started giving him a blood thinner because he was, you know, at this point in the hospital bed for like a week, and they didn't want any blood clots to happen or whatever, but I think the dose was too high, and so literally his mouth started pouring blood, and they could not figure out at first like why this was going on. But then we kind of figure out, and I told them, the blood thinner that you're giving him, it's too high of a dosage, like you have to lower it or completely take it away, because he's like literally bleeding from the mouth, and he's intubated. Mind you, this whole entire time he's intubated with a tube down his throat. So it's looking so gruesome what's going on with his mouth. But when the deliverance was playing and stuff started coming out of his mouth, also a big bloody something started coming out of his nose. And at first the nurses were afraid to touch it, but when the doctor came in, the doctor started telling her to like just go ahead and clean it, and when they started pulling it out, it looked like a big bloody worm came out of his nose. And the way that looked, the way that this whole entire situation looked like a horror movie, I cannot believe that we sat in that room for as many days as we did and did not see the situation for as serious as it was. It's really true that God will cover your mind so that you can deal with something when it's a lot more triggering and traumatizing than you even initially realized. But as soon as we played and completed both of the deliverance services in his ears and all of this stuff started to come out, we really had a strong indication and started to realize that this is a lot more spiritual than it is physical. You see, our father had a lot of open doors. He dabbled in a lot of mixture, and he was dealing in some things that he definitely should not have been dealing in. And because of that, we were looking at the situation that we were looking at. There's this scripture in the Bible that says a curse without cause will not land. And the thing is, when you have open doors, you allow curses to land. You can have open doors spiritually and you can have open doors physically, and our father happened to have both. You know, the enemy can use a spiritual open door or a physical open door to take you out. And I think that's why it's so important to stay on top of your health. So he had physical open doors, he had spiritual open doors, and we started to realize that a lot of what was going on had to do with curses, generational curses and things like that. And it started to really make sense to me. The dream that I had prior to taking a break from social media, it's like I was seeing a manifestation of what I had dreamed. And so the second week is when things started to really get intense because there was so much supernatural activity in this room. I don't know if I've ever seen this much supernatural activity in a room since I was a very small child. But when I tell you, there were so many different things going on in this room. The bed would shake. It was like times where the bed would be pulsating. His body would be moving in very odd ways. The machines next to the bed would be like humming. Like his bed had this sound that would sometimes happen that nobody could explain what it was. It sounded like his bed was about to take off. And there were sounds in the room, like if you can imagine an airplane before it's about to take off, like right before it accelerates to go and take off, it's like this loud whooshing, whirring sound that just gets louder, like that. That sound was in his room. And it was so odd to the point that the respiratory therapist that would come in and do things would start jumping, because it would sound like something with very large wings was whooshing by the door of his room, and the door would like shake. The lights in the room several times would just come on without anybody touching them, and the nurses and everybody would be looking around like what the heck just happened. The thermostat would just start turning down and getting colder and colder. There was even a certain point where the nurses kept getting locked out of the room. Like they would walk out of the room and close the door, and then we would see them trying to open the door, but they couldn't open the door. And there was one particular night where I felt something whoosh past me, and me and my sister were sitting at the foot of his bed, and I jumped and I was like, oh my God, like what was that? Did you feel that? And she was sitting there trying to ask me like to describe it, and I'm trying to describe to her where the energy and the shift in the room is happening, because I could literally feel movement in the room, but I couldn't like say, like, it was hard to describe because I could feel it, but I couldn't say, oh, it's right there. So I had to kind of like show her what was going on in the room. And on top of all of this, his body was still doing these very interesting things. And so it was at a certain point, and I can't even really tell you when, but at a certain point, I started to notice that we didn't even want to touch him anymore. It felt like whoever he was, it was not there. It felt like two different things were present, and one was his spirit, but one was something that shouldn't be there. And so I feel like, and I'm hoping that he had his opportunity to repent and come out of agreement with some things, but at a certain point it just felt like his spirit left, but something else was there in his body, and what that something was very uncomfortable. And to be quite honest, looking back now, was terrifying. But when you're just trying to cope and when you're just trying to deal with something, you don't realize how terrifying something actually is. And so I would say the last 4 days of being in there, it was like he wasn't there anymore. It was something else crawling around in there, and he progressively looked worse. Every single day we saw his face, it looked different. It looked like a different man was laying there every single day. And the last few nights, I brought her home with me because she had been sleeping in the room overnight with him. And just even the fact that she could sleep in the room overnight for that many days, like looking back now, we're like, how? Because I would stay there until like 2-3 in the morning to give her a chance to rest. And then when I would leave, she would get up, because we were constantly like watching over him, anointing his body, praying over him. Like, I never thought I would be responsible for trying to help deliver my father. So there's this thing that they do when they're trying to determine whether or not somebody is brain dead. He had gotten another MRI after me insisting. They finally gave it to him, and it showed that his brain was swelling, and they said it was herniating down to his spine, and this is signs of brain death. And so when that happens, they do this apnea test where they take you off the breathing machine, and if you initiate breaths on your own, then they put you back on, because you're not completely brain dead. It's like the breathing portion is the last to go. And so we went through 3 apnea tests, and when we went through the first one, we still had a little bit of hope. When we went through the second one, it was at this point we were like, something about his body and something about what's going on here is not right. And it was like a lot of bit creepy. And so that second day, when they were doing the second apnea test, apparently his body had jumped and moved in a way that even scared the respiratory therapist who was doing the test. And they didn't tell us about it initially, but it kind of slipped when the nurses were talking to us. And I think the reason why they didn't want to tell us is because they were trying not to give us false hope. But the second time my brother came to see him, my sister was on one side of the bed, I was on the other side of the bed, my brother was at the foot of the bed, and we had found out everything that he had been lying about, almost. And there's still things that we don't know, and to be quite honest, I'm okay not knowing. This whole entire situation was designed to turn us in such a way that we would move in bitterness and unforgiveness, and just like turn our spirit ugly. I know it was. But we sat at his bedside, and we both said to him, I forgive you. My sister said to him, I forgive you. And as soon as she said, I forgive you, it was like his head turned slightly towards her. She said, I release you into my forgiveness. And as soon as she said, I release you into my forgiveness, I looked at his hand, because I wanted to pick up his hand and try to hold it. And as soon as I picked up his hand, his entire body rose up from that bed like this, with his eyes closed. And he like looked at me, but with his eyes closed, it's like his whole body rose up and his head turned towards me. And then he went back on the bed. And when he did that, my brother jumped back from the bed, and he was like, I saw that. It was like such a definitive movement that it really like freaked us out, because his whole entire upper body and head came up off that bed when they're telling us he's brain dead. And so we asked them about that, and they couldn't really explain it. The pictures they were trying to show us about oh, this happens with brain death and all of that. The pictures were not adding up to what we were seeing. And we knew there was something else at work here, but it was after that day we decided we cannot continue to let him go on like this. Like, this is torture. His body at that point looked like it was rotting from the inside out, and he was just looking like he was already dead. And so we went home that day. We talked it over with our brother, and we decided that it would just be best to do what they call a compassionate passing, where they just remove him off the breathing machine, make him comfortable with medications, and just like let him naturally pass. So that's what we decided to do. But the thing is when we went up there that day for the last apnea test, for them to be able to do something like this, we stood there by his bed. We were probably about 2 feet away from his bed, and I know that the nurses were looking at us strange, because up until that point we had been hugging him, kissing him, like there 24/7, just trying to have hope and faith that he will wake up. But it was like this last particular day, we just could not bring ourselves to even be close to his bed or touch him or anything. And so they were like, you could stay in here until the tests, you could stay in here, it's going to be in 10 minutes, whatever. But we were just like, no, we'll wait outside. So we went to the lobby, and we were just chit-chatting and talking. And as we started to talk, mind you, we had been in this waiting room several times, and this had never happened. We were sitting out there alone, when all of a sudden that sound, that whooshing, whirring sound, started to happen next to us. It felt like something was trying to force its way through a force field against us. And we immediately went silent and still and just sat there like this. And we both started praying. Like, I don't think I've ever prayed so hard in my life, because it felt like something was trying to get through whatever protective force field that we had around us. It was like something was trying to get through and trying to get to us. And then all of a sudden, these code blues and code reds and things like that started going off, with rooms like right next door to each other. And it was the oddest thing. Like, it just, nothing is coincidence. There are a lot of people who could explain this stuff away, but being there and feeling what we felt, that was a complete and total spiritual attack. Crazy thing about it is, after that happened, my sister saw 2 angels walk into the room, and no sooner that the 2 angels walked into the room, a few minutes, not even minutes, seconds later, 30 seconds later maybe, the doctor came out and told us they had completed the apnea test. So little did we know that all of this was going on while they were doing the apnea test on him. And so it was at that point we let them know the decision that we had made, and we left the hospital, and we never went back up there. I know it seems odd that we wouldn't want to go be up there with him on the last day, but when I tell you that that wasn't our father, and our father was no longer there, if you knew what we knew, saw what we saw, felt what we felt, then you would understand why we couldn't be up there. There was no way we couldn't be up there. And this was such an experience, because a lot of what happened to our father happened because of church hurt. It happened because of a lack of forgiveness. It happened because he tried to take matters into his own hands when he was upset, when he was angry. It happened because he entertained too many different things that he never should have entertained. He didn't protect his ear gates. He didn't protect his eye gates. It was like so much. And all of this because he could not understand that he was enough. We never needed him to do anything extra for us. We never needed him to come with all of this money, or, come give us all of these different things that I know that he wanted to. Like, we never needed all of that. All we needed was for him to be there. And it's so crazy how that fear of rejection, feeling like you have to come with something, like you have to be good for something, like you have to bring something tangible, like will cause you to fall into some crazy things, all because you don't realize that you're good enough. And so I think the biggest lesson I learned out of all of this, first of all, is nobody can ever make me that mad. Like, God's wrath is nothing to be played with. And the thing is, God does not cause things to happen, but when you do not move with the Spirit of God and you do not move in partnership with God, there are so many pitfalls and curses that can fall your way because you're not moving with the right spirit, you know? And so my faith has leveled up 10,000. My sister said, I literally saw you spiritually grow like 10 levels in the last 12 days. The way that my discernment works, the way that my seeing has leveled up, it's like such an invaluable experience that will forever change my life and shape the way that I move and see things. And I know that a lot of people could question God and ask why, but God had enough grace to show us exactly why things had to happen this way. And so, you know, all I can say is thank you for the time that I was able to have with him. And I really have to take the best of who he was, the pieces of him that I can hold close and cherish, because there was a lot like that he let take him out. He let overtake him. And it's just so unfortunate how a lack of healing could cause a thing like this. Like, this should never have taken him out. This should never have taken him out. But it was the things that he allowed into his life. You guys, do not dabble. Do not dabble in these other things. You keep your nose in the word. Do not dabble with this witchcraft business. Do not dabble with any of these other things, these ideologies. Trust me when I say, do not entertain these things, because I saw a manifestation of what could happen when you let too much into your spirit. So he passed. That night, me and my sister stayed up drinking wine, just like waiting for the call. And I think I went into shock because I didn't cry for 4 days. And I think I was traumatized. We both had PTSD. And it wasn't until like that 4th day that I finally cried, because I had a dream. And mind you, I've never not had a dream for more than like 2 days. But while he was in the hospital, after I had the dream about what was wrong with him, I didn't dream that entire time. It was like God was not speaking to me in that way. God chose to speak to me in a different way. And I didn't dream for the whole of him being in the hospital after that. And it wasn't until after he passed that I started to dream, and God started to unravel and explain to me why things were the way that they were in certain situations. And in one of the dreams, Michael came to me and basically told me that I couldn't handle things the way that I was handling them, and that I was coping in a very unhealthy way, and that sometimes people do things and we don't we don't always understand why people do things the way that they do. But it was time for me to wash my hands and wipe them of the situation, instead of handling it and dwelling in it the way that I was. And it was something about that dream and him talking to me and ministering to me in that way and showing me where that coping habit started and where I had initially picked that up. He showed me an age range, and it made sense. And I woke up from the dream that morning and I was bawling. Like, I was bawling. It was like the floodgates broke, and that wall that I had up trying to cope and not break down and not feel anything, it just all just came out. And I know that you never want to see anybody hurting, but I know that my sister was relieved, because for those few days she was really worried about me and worried about if I was processing, because it just looked like I was void of emotion, like nothing was happening. After that, God has continued to speak to me about, like different things that maybe we'll talk about later. But I went to a wedding after that, and it was something about the wedding and watching the fathers and daughters interact, and all of that just completely broke me down. While my husband is inside at the wedding reception, I'm in the car laying down because I've just been getting so sleepy so early. It's like the trauma of what I went through is actually starting to like set in, and I find myself getting sleepy so early. Like, I don't know, like it's like my body is responding to something that like my mind is still catching up on. Even just being at the wedding, it just takes me back to my own wedding where I had my first dance like with my stepfather and my father. And I think back to those pictures, and it's like I was sitting in the reception like trying not to cry. But like, I really wanted to. Because there's a certain relationship with my dad that I will never have because he's gone. And there's like just a lot of unanswered questions, you know? So I just came in the car to like lay down and just kind of like rest and let my husband enjoy himself with his friends while I kind of like rest, so I'm not a party pooper, because I do really want him to have a good time. He hasn't seen some of these friends in a while, so I want him to be able to like have a good time. And I really am like sleepy, and I really can't wait to get home and like go to bed. But yeah, just in the meantime, just sitting in the car trying to deal. I'm just trying to deal. But at least I got out and I tried, you know? Grief is so interesting because it just hits you at the most random times. And you never really know, like, which moment will cause you to break down. Anyways, bye. I would say that as horrific as the situation was for me to experience and go through, there are just certain things that God can never tell you. He has to show you. And there's certain things that are really, really hard in life that you have to walk through. And I know that it doesn't make sense and you don't always know why things happen the way that they do. But trust me, like, there is always a reason and a purpose for the way that everything happens. Nothing is a shock or a surprise to God. And I just feel really blessed that this situation did not take me out, because this situation was designed to take me and my sister out. It was designed to twist us and turn us into something unrecognizable. And I just thank God that he did not allow it, and that he stepped in when he did to this situation the way that he did. So life will never be the same for me. It will never be the same. I will forever see things differently, but everything happens for a reason. So when you feel like you just don't understand, when you feel hopeless, when you feel sad, when you feel down, just know that even though it doesn't feel good, it's always going to be for your good. You just have to make sure that you learn the lesson. Don't ever ignore a lesson that God is trying to teach you, because it's much better for God to teach you than life to teach you. So I will see you guys in my next video. We'll get back on track, but for now I'm just kind of like trying to cope and heal from what I just experienced, because it was definitely traumatic.